Right then, welcome back to the channel. My name is Stephen Howson, and this is 5 things that we learn watching United versus Newcastle. In number 1, you got to start it with it, aren't you? We were just inept in possession. There was no patterns, no cohesiveness. The build-up was slow. The movement off the ball was one of the worst I think you could point at. I'd just been downstairs with Joe doing my fan cam, and I mentioned in that there was a point in the first half where I looked up and it was like 4 United players basically just standing in a line marked by the 4 Newcastle players. The ball was maybe 10 metres off that line, off to the right with the low, and you're just thinking, there's 0 off the ball movement here. 0. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. What are we doing? What are we doing? The errors were unforced, sloppy, not creating enough chances, not having enough shots, and Marcus trying things, dribbling a lot, not producing a damn thing with it. Just a poor game in possession. Now, second half, I don't think we've worked enough on our regular plan, our initial plan of way of playing. We've certainly not worked enough, anywhere near enough, on what to do when we put 7 forwards on or whatever it was that we did at the end and just go for it. So, it makes a lot of sense why there was no cohesiveness and patterns, because we definitely wouldn't have worked out how to play like that. But either way, not good enough. Number 2, defensive frailty. Maguire was awful. Probably Varane's worst game in a United shirt. Midfield gets bypassed too easily, even though it's set up to be a defensive pairing. And the guy has to constantly keep pulling United out of the shit. Just the pressure is on when we will not keep a clean sheet. When you don't keep a clean sheet, the pressure is on the attack. And you've got good players that are going to score goals up at the other end. You put them under a lot of pressure when you can't keep a clean sheet. You want to be champions, you got to keep clean sheets. You want to be in the top 4, you got to keep clean sheets. Number 3, I agree on this one as well. Gary Neville spoke about this. Outworked, outpressed. He mentioned City and Liverpool when he was talking after the game, and he said, they're playing football at a level United can't fathom at the moment. Or I'm paraphrasing, but it was words to that effect. And more than that, they're just putting in levels more work than us. Levels more work than us. Lifeless. No spark. He was talking about how much they complain to each other on the pitch. The attitude and that, it ain't right. There's a lack of team spirit. It seems like Newcastle's structure and game plan was more robust than ours. Just 0 spark, man. 0. Just one of the flattest, most abject performances I've seen from a United team in a long time. You can't fucking score, or you can't carve open. Obviously we scored, but you can't carve open the worst defence in the league with this attacking talent. What the fuck are you on about? Number 4, Cavani must stay. He looked the most dangerous when he came on. His movement in the box and his movement off the ball and the positions that he takes up when the ball's coming into the box, unmatched in this United side. Even to the extent where I'm not sure you're even getting that necessarily out of Cristiano Ronaldo week in, week out at the moment. He's got a goal involvement every 100 minutes in his United career. He just offers something entirely different. I don't give a fuck how old he is. He's expressed a desire to leave, and going off what everyone else who expresses a desire to leave gets treated like, well, you got to go then. But I'd love it if we could convince him to stay. Because unlike some of the others, Pogba and Marshall mainly, there's never been a question about what Cavani does in a United shirt. There's been questions whether Pogba actually does enough in a United shirt, and there's certainly been question marks over Marshall to warrant that sort of attitude. Cristiano Ronaldo wanted away at one time, and he went. But you could never question what he did in a United shirt. Cavani going makes us a weaker team, because we're certainly not going to get a replacement in. And number 5, Dave saves again. Should have lost that match and probably deserved to lose that match. Pulled us out of the shit. Big saves, big moments. One of the good things about being so shit is that you get a goalkeeper like Dave this season, maybe not so much last season. I think he fell off a little bit. He's had a wobble in his United career, but he seems to be almost back to that sort of, was it Lou Van Gaal era? Where he was like I mean, we were talking about him being one of the best in the world at that time. I think he's way off that at the moment, but he's looking good again. And this isn't a number, but just continuation of where we're going with this sort of stuff. Ralph's got a lot of fucking work to do, man. We look so far off the pace, it's almost unfathomable from this point. All the people who hounded out Ollie, I hope you're seeing now the task that awaits in front of him. There's a hell of a lot of work to be done. Nice one, in a bit. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.